Not knowing how to skive by hand will humble you. If not now, maybe soon. It cost me about 3 months of daily practice to get to this level. But if you think that's such a high price to pay, when I could have just gone ahead and bought a bell skiver, wait till you see the price tag on those monsters. Now, even if your father is Aliko Dangote and you have money to burn, the day will certainly come when even you will agree that those of us who know how to skive by hand, our powers are beyond Lefasese Prelamante, Abido Sheka, and Dabus Kabash. If you still don't agree with me, but if you do and you want to learn some techniques in skiving and how the particular skiving knives that you use can be the bridge for you to cross from just being an amateur to being a skiving ninja, stick around to the end of this video. And while you're at that, like and subscribe to the channel. Welcome to Pomo Bespoke. There are different types of skiving knives, and while I can't boast of knowing the science behind how all of them work, experience have shown me that they all act differently according to the angle of their cutting edge. That one, as you saw, was cut at an angle of 30 degrees. This one, which is a self-made skiving knife, is cut at 60 degrees. I also have this one, which I made earlier on, also cut at approximately 60 degrees, twice the angle of the initial one. This one, which I also made by me, is cut at 60 degrees. This one is a Japanese skiving knife cut at 90 degrees. So you see that the ones that I made by myself are all cut at 60 degrees. So let's just say I have a preference for 60 degrees cut skiving knives. But then let's see how this Japanese skiving knife, which is cut at 90 degrees, skives leather. So let's go ahead and test it out. What you saw me do was to sharpen it on smooth sandpaper and strop it on a piece of leather. Note also that before skiving, I put the work on a hard surface. I'm using glass, but you can use granite or marble. You can add a stropping compound, which you can buy on AliExpress or from different vendors in the market. You can also use the dust that you grind out of floor tiles. So this is how it cuts. You see that you need to keep it straight and make several passes at the leather for it to cut. But the edge of the skiving is very well defined. It keeps a straight angle, and you can only do, in my experience, push skiving. So you are pushing away at the parts of the leather that you want to skive out. So a key characteristic of this skiving knife is that your edge, the edge of your skive, is very well defined, straight, and you can get it done, but you can only do push skiving. What other types of skiving do we have? We're about to find out. So this one is my 60 degrees, and you can see that it is very long, longer than my palm. So let's sharpen it. As you can see, I'm sharpening it on sandpaper and stropping it on the leather. But before we skive with that, let us try this 30 degrees one. So sharpen it on the sandpaper side of the strop and then also strop it on leather. Now let's skive. Because of the way this is designed, push skiving is going to be a little bit awkward. So all you can do, in my experience with this, will be much more of pull skiving. So you are pulling down at the leather and you are skiving. It gives you the advantage of skiving one long piece, but your skiving edge, many times, at least in my own experience, isn't very well defined. So that's for the 30 degrees cut skiving edge knife. Now let's try this one that I made by myself, the 60 degrees long. This one has the advantage of doing the pull skiving and doing it quite easily, as you can see. But again, to do push skiving with this knife, because it is so long and it goes across my palm, doing push skiving on it is a little bit awkward. But pull skiving, it does it very well. And the skiving edges are, well defined, not as much as you would have on the 90 degrees one. So you see, I try to do yeah, you can do push skiving. You can define your edge and then use that to skive away. This way you have an advantage. So you're already seeing that the 60 degrees skiving edge cut knives are doing better with both push and pull skiving. But of course it is very long, and I suspect that it is the length of it that makes it very not suitable for push skiving. So I shortened the length on this particular knife, and let us see how it does with regards to push and pull skiving. Immediately you see that it fits into my palm very, very well. I have fairly big palms, so this is designed for my palm. Of course, there are female shoemakers and female leather crafters who don't have palms that are as big as mine, so we also have a smaller size knife made specifically for that type of anatomy. So let's try the 60 degrees short skiving knives with on both pull and push skiving. So push first. You see that it's not awkward when you're trying to do push skiving with this knife. It's as though it's very well made for that. Very well suited for that purpose. It's not exactly as suited as for this purpose as you would find in a 90 degrees cut skiving knife, but you see that it doesn't have any problem whatsoever doing it. And this way you find that your skiving edge on this with this type of knife is also very well defined, almost as well defined as you would have with the Japanese skiving knife. So that's one big score for the 60 degrees skiving knives. Can we do pull skiving with them? Oh, sure, yes. We've already seen that with the long one, and as you can see, you can define your edge with, starting as though you want to do a push skiving, and then you can finish off with your pull skiving. And this way you also have that advantage of doing one long skive without breaking sweat and without breaking it into two. So you're not doing several passes as you had in case of your Japanese skiving knife. And in this case, both push and pull skiving are very well done. So this is the smaller size version of that 60 degrees short skiving knife that I talked to you about. So let's strop it and sharpen it and see how it performs with both push and pull. So there you have it. Meanwhile, some people may be saying that I'm cheating by using leather that is very flimsy. If you know anything about skiving, you know that it is these thin leathers that are the most difficult to skive. They can rumple on you and you cut holes into your skiving edge. So these ones, when you find a knife that can slice thin leather very well, those are the knives that you should really get. And as you can see, this is doing an absolutely amazing job on the thin leather. I would also demonstrate to you shortly how it does with thick vegetable tan leather. It's not a problem at all. So let's see how these knives skive curves. We've basically maintained straight lines. Let's see what they do with curves. Not a problem at all. If you are a bag maker, curves may not be a big problem, but if you're a shoemaker, you find that many times you're not skiving along straight lines, but also curves, both concave and convex curves. And as you can see, those are breeze. They are a breeze for this knife. Gets the job done. Of course, I've been skiving away at the the grain side of the leather, but many times you're not going to be skiving the grain side of your leather. In fact, typically you shouldn't be skiving the grain side of your leather. I only did that in this case to show you how well defined the skiving edges are, but you can see that on the flesh side of the leather as well, the job is done absolutely very well with no problems at all. So let's try this again on the flesh side of our leather. The flesh side, of course, is the suede side. So I use push skiving to define my edge and use pull skiving to finish it off. And then just a few places where I had some bumps, I cleaned that up nicely and everything is well done. If I was going to do a folded edge, this would have done the job properly. So let's try a thicker slice of leather. This is about 1 mm thick of vegetable tan leather, just about 1 mm thick, or even more than that. So we sharpen and strop, and define our edge with push skiving, and then we can use pull skiving to finish off our skiving in one long pass. And you see that this is very well done. If we wanted to keep it exclusively at push skiving, we could also do that and there will be no problems at all. So this, ladies and gentlemen, underscores the reason why I prefer these knives that are cut at 60 degrees angle, and I just thought to share them. You guys let me know what you think the ideal price should be in the comment section, and I'll be happy to oblige you guys. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming by. As always, God bless you. Peace.